A 2004 Bigfoot encounter story from the Sabine River in Panola County, Texas. The witness was a hunter who set out into the bottoms to hunt for hogs. The bottoms were quiet that morning, the kind of stillness where every movement seems louder than it should. It was early April, and a thin fog hung over the Sabine River like a pale ribbon. The hunter had reached his tree stand around 5:30 a.m. He worked quickly, setting out sliced apples and table scraps on the edge of the riverbank, bait for the wild hogs that came rooting at dawn. Once in the stand, he let the forest settle back into its rhythm. When the sun finally began to rise, the quiet broke. From somewhere down along the river's edge came the unmistakable sound of hogs. They were moving toward him, and through the trees, he could just make out their dark shapes. At about 50 yards, the hogs angled left, heading toward his bait site. But then, something shifted in the corner of his vision. To his right, at roughly 80 yards, something large was moving between the trees. Slowly, he brought his rifle to bear and peered through the scope. At first, all he could see was part of a face, the side of a massive head covered in dark, coarse hair. This was no hog. The figure shifted, stepping to another tree, and for the first time he saw most of its body. It was huge, upright, easily over 7 feet tall, shoulders so wide they seemed to fill the space between the trees. The creature stood on 2 legs, long arms hanging at its sides, but its head was angled toward the hogs. The hunter kept the scope trained, forcing himself to breathe slowly. The thing moved again, not walking, but leaping. One silent, powerful jump to the base of the next tree, landing on 2 feet without a sound. Then another leap, always keeping the trunks between itself and the hogs. This went on for minutes, a calculated approach, until it was only 40 yards away and nearly in front of him. Then, it dropped to all fours. It bunched its legs like a sprinter in the blocks, and in a blur of motion it launched forward. The first leap carried it halfway. The second, accompanied by a loud, almost screaming roar, landed it directly among the hogs. One swung its head in panic, but too late. The creature struck with terrifying force, slamming a hog sideways into a tree so hard the sound echoed. The animal bounced off and fell to the ground squealing, only for the figure to pounce, hammering it repeatedly with its fists like a person pounding a desk. The hunter could hear bones breaking with each blow. In less than 4 seconds, the hog was dead. The others fled in every direction. The figure bent, scooped up the carcass under one massive arm, and began walking away, emitting a deep, guttural vocalization mixed with growling and whooping sounds. The hunter held his breath. Through the scope, he saw it cock its head to one side, as if studying him. After a long moment, it turned back, picked up the hog again, and walked off as if the hunter wasn't even there. The man stayed in his stand for another 30 minutes, heart still pounding, before climbing down to meet his hunting partner, who had also heard the terrifying scream and both sets of whoops. The witness described feeling more fear than he'd ever experienced in his life, and the encounter left him convinced the creature was highly intelligent. He later submitted his story to the BFRO. If you enjoyed the retelling of this encounter story, please support my page by liking and following, and let me know in the comments if you've ever had an encounter with a Bigfoot.